So with the recent Secret Levels series that released on Amazon Prime Video, Concord got a highlight episode. And this sort of sparked the discourse about Concord all over social media once again. This is like a second wave of everyone bashing Concord. And it's popped up on my Explore page. I think at one point it may have been trending. I don't know if it went that high on Twitter, but let's look into it. So here's one of the things that is going on. The Concord merch store disappeared. And people are making fun of it, saying that there is no game called Concord. And this is a reference to Avatar, but before we really get into what other people's opinions and thoughts on this are, I'm going to give my opinion. I think that Concord was going into a market where a lot of people were already giving a lot of free value, and they put a price tag on their product that was incredibly high. And I think that people couldn't rationalize spending $40 on a game when there are free alternatives that are just as good, if not better, out on the market. So on November 6th, Grimm said this: "We're winning huge. It's a really bad day for Woki game devs. All their AAA games like Concord, Star Wars Outlaws, and Dragon Age are falling flat on their faces or underperforming. The Chuds are buying non-woke games like Wukong, Stellar Blade in record numbers. They're having their biggest layoffs in gaming history in the West, while based Asian studios are going public and hiring like crazy. Trump gets elected and they go into an absolutely hysterical mental health crisis. We're winning so much right now. Keep fighting. Everybody fights. Nobody quits." And I think Rum's mindset here with this woke versus anti-woke culture war, I think it reflects the view of a lot of gamers, but I personally don't really care about the culture war. I think a lot of it's silly and nonsensical. I don't look at this list of characters from Concord and say, hey, I want to be any of these guys or I want to play as any of these guys. Really, nothing is interesting or, draws me to picking these characters or playing as them. It's like their kits might be cool. That might be why I picked them up. But, I don't really think, I don't really, think I would, if I got the game, I wouldn't, even try, half of these characters. I think Star Child looks silly. I think probably the best design would probably be Kip's. But I don't know. None of these characters, I don't want to, make fun of them too heavily. But it's just, the designs are just a little bit, This dude just does not look like an actual, militant. He doesn't look like... looks like some dude in cosplay. That's what it looks like. And like I said with Valorant, I think a lot of what Concord is trying to do has already been done better by other games. It's trying to be this diverse and inclusive game, which, props to them for at least trying, But I don't really look at any of these characters and think, hey, these guys are cool. I look at them and say, hey, these guys look silly. No one wants to be a part of this loser squad. No one wants to be a part of the... this is like the Weenie Hut Jr. of game design and game characters. I think this dude brings up a couple of good examples, right? So, with Concord's budget, it had $400 million. They could have developed, a new Killzone game, another Infamous game, another Sly Cooper game, Days Gone, Little Big Planet, Resistance. All of these games are really cool. Bloodborne Remaster, But really, I just think it's silly that, they spent so much money developing this game that was supposed to be their bread and butter, their, Star Wars levels franchise in their words. And it's just a game that no one had a reason to play. And I really think that's where they struggled. According to this video game article, a Marvel rival devs commented on why Concord failed, and they said that it didn't bring any unique value. In an interview, Sasser argued that Concord didn't have enough unique value to attract people from Overwatch or from similar games. There's a switching cost, the director said. I've already invested in Overwatch. I've got 15 skins for Pharah. I'm not going anywhere. And typically when gamers get set in their habits, in their ways, it's really hard to get them to switch from the platform they're already on to go over to a new and risky endeavor. And I really think that's really reflected by Concord's Steam charts. This Steam data is probably not even a fourth of all the players who've ever played Concord, because probably most of them are on PlayStation. But I think this chart really reflects its just the game, and its life cycle. The game got shut down somewhere in September and went from an all-time high of around 600 people who bought the game on Steam in the first day, 700 people or so. I don't know how many sales they've got. I can't see this game having more than like 5,000 sales on Steam, even though it's pretty low, or 10,000 sales on Steam. I don't see more than like 10,000 people realistically buying this game. And then a lot of people got into the game, played a couple matches, thought, hey, this game's a little silly, either refunded it or just waited until the game died and got the refund for free. But having a $400 million budget and only having 600, having an all-time peak of 697 is really depressing. And it's like that's just like, you have to be embezzling that or something. There is no way that actually, like, that just doesn't make sense to me. You spend $400 million on a project and no one is, 700 people is a lot of people, but for $400 million is actually ridiculous. There isn't really a reason for people to play this game. The $40 price tag is quite steep for a game with as little content as this game. And on the other hand, look at, this is what really Marvel Rivals did incredibly well, and this is why a lot of people think it might be an Overwatch killer. Upon its release, it had 450,000 average daily players, pretty much 24/7. It peaked at 480,000 players at its all-time peak a couple days ago. And a lot of people are making social media content about it. A lot of free promotional material is being posted about it. And I think that is really pushing Marvel Rivals to be a leader in its space right now. The big reason why people are playing Marvel Rivals as opposed to Overwatch or Concord is just because all of the characters in Marvel Rivals are incredibly cool. Like, people could see themselves playing as Adam Warlock. You saw him in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. People think he's cool. Black Panther. Everyone thinks Black Panther is sick. He has his own comics, his own movies, right? So a lot of people would want to play as T'Challa. Dope character, Captain America. Like, same thing. I think you kind of get the point. A lot of people can see themselves as playing some of these hero characters that are incredibly sick, incredibly dope, and go in and be a superhero. Like, so many people have talked about like their experiences playing Spider-Man. Like, they said that as a kid they've always wanted to be Spider-Man, so being called Spider-Man whilst playing Marvel Rivals, in voice chat is always like really cool to them. I think that $400 million budget is quite ridiculous for Concord, but if it was spent a little bit better, the character designs were a little bit better, I think Concord could have seriously have been a serious player in this hero shooter genre because of its timing. Like, Overwatch was getting out the door, it was getting its butt kicked, and it had a couple months runway before Marvel Rivals came out, so they could have snuck in between the two games and try to siphon players from both sides.